good evening. This is Pastor Wayne, and it is time for our Varsity Conversations. And I'm here today with David Milford, and David is going to be answering some of the same questions we've asked everyone else so far. And so I want you to get to know David a little bit better. So we'll get started here. I'm going to turn things around. Tell about where you were born and some of your growing up, your childhood years.
Kingman, Kansas, 1934. They had a one-bedroom home just off the edge of Highway 50. And we lived in Kingman for a number of years. I was probably about the 6th or 7th, maybe the 8th grade when we moved to the farm.
Now, how many siblings did you have?
4.
And are you the oldest, youngest?
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
And my sister's 2 years, and my other brother, only had one. My brother is 5 years younger. And he's also a retired oral surgeon. And then my sister Rose and Kathy.
So 2 boys, 2 girls.
Well, 5 of us all to hold.
5, okay.
Who did I miss? I don't know. I thought I had them all.
No, you got them all. I thought you meant it was 4 altogether, but it was 5 altogether, including yourself. So you were there in Kansas. When you were older, you moved to the farm. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
We moved to a farm out in western Kansas, and my dad and mother struggled to keep us going. Mom cooked on a wood cook stove, and they learned the tricks to how many boards go in there so it don't burn. And I rode a tractor for Dad, and it just was poor farm boys.
Did you grow crops, or was this a dairy farm? Or?
No, it was wheat farm.
Wheat farm. Mm-hmm.
And some alfalfa. And it's in those days I got paid $1 an hour when I went to work for somebody other than my folks. And you start at daylight, and you quit just before sundown. And most of us took a sack lunch, and you eat it on the tractor. No 10-minute breaks. Didn't know what a 10-minute break was. If my dad seen that tractor stop out there in the middle of that field, he'd come racing across there. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Oh, goodness. So did he follow the almanac as far as planning and...
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
Was there... Tell us about your family. Was your family a Christian family? Did you grow up in a Christian family?
First Christian church.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen them on TV. There's a little church, and it probably holds a congregation of, maybe on a crowded day, it's 75 people in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All right, so my next question is this. Who is someone outside of your immediate family who had a big impact on you as a young person?
It's a good question.
A teacher, maybe a Sunday school teacher.
I had a football coach.
Coach. Mm-hmm.
And I guess it was my junior year in high school, and we're setting up our schedules as classes and stuff. And he was my counselor. And he said, "What are you going to take this year?" And I said, "Library." And he said, "No, you're going to take typing." And I said, "I can't type." He said, "I know, but you can't write either." And so, as it turned out, that man saved me. I took typing my junior year. I was the only boy in the class. My senior year, I took typing again, and there were 4 or 5 guys went with me. And I don't know, I learned how to type. And when I joined the Navy, the career counselors, they interview you, and what do you want to do? And I said, what do you got? And he said, what would you like to do? I said, "I'd like to be an engineer." He said, "No, your grades are too high." And what did he say? "Oh, we're going to make you, and you know how to type." He said, "We're going to make you a radioman."
Oh, okay.
Well, what's a radio? I mean, and that typing in there again. Because I knew how to type, it made me a radioman. I spent a career not getting my clothes dirty.
So you were encrypting messages.
Well, no, at first I was just typing, just flat out typing. But later on, the typing ability played a huge part. A huge part. And like I said, I never got dirty.
Well, how many words could you type a minute?
On a teletypewriter, you know what a teletypewriter is? I could hit up around 70.
Wow.
I don't know. I just loved that teletypewriter. And they got replaced, about 2 or 3 years after I got in the Navy. And back to the typewriter again. But, yeah, I can't remember that guy's name, but he was, for him to making me take typing.
That was a big thing.
That was it.
What sort of play or activities or games did you enjoy as a child?
Child. I enjoyed playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked to run in track.
Were you on the track team at school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned. There was a guy by the name of Wes Santee out in Kansas someplace. And he was struggling to run a 4-minute mile. We went to a track meet, and I was entered in the mile, and I can see they got the stretch the line across. I'm on my 3rd lap. They got the string across the track for him to break. I'm just finishing the 3rd, and he's finishing the 4th. 4 laps around a quarter-mile track.
Gotcha.
And I got chewed. Don't you ever do that again. Because he was the big winner, and he deserved to get all the adulations. But when I broke the string.
They put it on too early, is that what I'm understanding?
No.
Because you hadn't finished your 3rd lap?
I was finishing my 3rd lap as he was finishing the 4th. He was all done. I should have slowed down or stepped off the track or something.
I got you. Oh my goodness. How did you meet your spouse and what attracted you to her?
I've thought about that a lot. When Dad quit farming, the crops just wasn't working for him. And so we moved to Dodge City. He got a job on the police force. And I joined the Navy. And I don't know, at some point in time I came home and Dad had bought a house next door to this other house. Well, and she was that's where Lila lived with her parents. And I don't know, I seen her a couple, 3 times when I was home. And there was another time I took her, I got a date with her. And I don't know. There was
How old were you at this time?
probably about 21 or 2. I don't know. And then I left and come back, and we had exchanged mail. And I come home this 3rd time, and I didn't ask her. We're sitting in the car, and she's got her clasp ring or something on her finger, and so I had her hand, and I'm playing with that finger, that ring, and I slipped it off without her noticing, and then I slid that engagement ring I had bought. I slipped that on there, and we're sitting there talking.
How long did it take for her to notice the engagement ring?
I almost had 4 or 5 minutes. And all of a sudden she just screamed. And
That is amazing. Now, people talk about the girl next door, but you literally married the girl next door.
Yeah.
And her name is Lila. And so tell us a little bit about your early married life together.
well, I was in the Navy, and when we got married, and I've thought about this a lot. I don't know how we ever did it, but after we got married, the next day we got on the train in Dodge and going east. We went to Chicago, caught another train, went to Washington, D.C., caught another train and went to Norfolk. And when we got to Norfolk, when we got on the train, I had $200. No credit cards. $200. And never bothered me a bit. She was confident as confident can be. And we got off the train in Norfolk, Norfolk, and caught a cab. And he said, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, "Well, we don't know. We're just here with the Navy. We'll have to find someplace to live." And he says, "I know a couple that you might like." So he drove us over there, and it was Tiny and Tim, is their names. They had a house with a split house.
Uh-huh.
And well, yeah, we'd love to have you. You can have that side for $35 a month. Hey, we got more than enough money.
Now, after those train rides, how much did you have left out of the $200?
Oh, that was paid for when I got on.
Oh, okay, okay.
And but yeah, and I could catch a bus and go to the Navy, to the ship I was assigned to.
So here's Lila,
And
who's been in Kansas, I guess, all her life.
oh yeah,
And now she's on the East Coast at a Navy base.
no, she's on in town.
Well, in town.
We're on the coast.
So how long is it before you arrive that you're deployed on a patrol?
I don't know, but when I left, she's alone, no relatives, no friends, doesn't know where she's at, and it never worried either one of us. That had to be God holding our hands, because we was never worried about that. And I have laid awake at night and how in the world, how come we were so lucky? I just had to be.
Yeah. After the Navy, what sort of vocation did you go into, and why did you choose it?
I went into the post office. The Navy, when you retire from the Navy, well, into the armed forces, they have schools for civil service. And whatever civil service project you think you want to work at, you can go to school. And they'll teach you the examination. And so I said, I'm going to go to the post office. And so I went to school for 2 weeks, and we studied that postal exam. We studied hard on it.
Lila helped you?
No.
No.
And well, I don't know. It's hard to say. If you're walking off the street, you can't pass that exam, because they're not asking how many nails in a pound. No. They're if this happens, what do you do with that type of thing? And they also teach you that if you don't know the question, skip it. It don't cost you nothing. They count only the points that are the questions are answered correctly. And if you answer a question incorrectly, they subtract 2 points. That's the goal. You don't have to have 100. You gotta
be in the positive.
Make sure you know what you're doing. And so when I walked into the post office down in Dodge, and I said, "Hi, I'm David Milford, and I come to go to work with you guys." And they said, "Well, the waiting list is pretty long." I said, "It's not that long." I said, "I'm next." And they all started backing up. I said, "I have 103 points on the exam. Best you could do would be 100. But because I was military, I give it 5 points extra. So I had scored like 97. But we all scored way up there. And it's a helping hand to the retiring military people.
Mm-hmm.
You got a leg up to start with.
Yeah.
And they was flabbergasted. I said, "Yeah, I'm next."
Now, where was this that you started
Dodge.
working? In Dodge?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
And they start you off as a flexi. That flexi's a dirty word. You can go
that
to work.
sounds like a gopher.
Yeah. You can go. go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning and get off at 3 in the afternoon, be back at the midnight. Well,
So did you start off sorting mail or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just everything. And I did that for 2 years. And, well, the postmaster, I guess it was, said, David, if you're interested, here's a couple of jobs. He said they're postal police are looking for candidates, and there's an empty post office out there in the country. And so I put in for both of them. You can't believe it, but on the same day, in the same mail, I got approved from both of them.
So which did you choose?
And I said, honey, we can go. I can go to the postal police, and we'll live everywhere in the United States. Or we can go to that post office and just settle in our home. And let's don't go tracing around the country. Let's just go.
So where did you move to?
I went for my interview for the postmaster of that little job, and it was a nothing interview. And it must have been 6 or 8 months later. The managing postal master, where was we? Well, I don't know where we was at, but he came up to me one time and he said, he said, you really impressed me when you showed up at my desk. I said, why? He said, I couldn't get my eyes off your shoes.
That's the Navy. It's still in you, huh? Shoes were shined.
Yes, they was.
Now, but how many children do you have?
We have 4. Well, we had 5, but we lost the 3rd child.
Okay, what are their names?
Randy, Don, David, and Mike.
Randy's the oldest?
Randy's the oldest, and then Don. And they both live here in D-Land. David is the 3rd now. He lives in Sarasota. And then, of course, my son Mike is the youngest, and he's a fiber optic splicer for the telephone company in Kansas. They go from Topeka, or they go from Kansas City to Wichita to Tulsa, Oklahoma to Missouri, someplace.
Mm-hmm. That's a big job nowadays, as more and more fiber is coming online.
And they hold the jobs open for him.
I bet.
He's got Crohn's disease.
Ooh.
And they have removed everything that's removable. And they're coming to see us in, they said last night, about the end of April. And I said, well, tell me ahead of time what you like to eat. And he said, it all has to just go right on through. He said, I don't have a stomach.
Mm.
He eats quite often. So.
Just whatever will stick with him.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, just so those that are watching may or may not know, but Randy, your oldest son, is on our worship team. He plays the guitar. And so you'll see him on Sunday mornings. If you didn't know, that was Randy Milford, but that's David's oldest son playing the guitar. Now, tell me about any funny stories with the kids growing up. Anything you remember?
I come back from a cruise one time. I drove up in the driveway. The boys are out there, and I rolled up to the garage door and stopped, and David said, Dad, watch this. He did a flip, broke his arm.
Oh, my goodness.
I left and went to the hospital.
Oh, famous last words. Um, Let me ask you this. Have you ever had any brush with famous persons, celebrities, anything like that?
No, not really. I had a deal. Lila and I went to church on Sunday, took the boys, and after church is over, we go out the smorgasbord, I think they call it. You just went down the line, filled your point. We went out to church, then went to dinner, and then we were going home, and as we drove into the driveway, my neighbor across the street would come running. And David, the Shore Patrol's been here twice already, and they're looking for you. I haven't done anything.
The Shore Patrol?
That's the military police.
Okay. This was in Norfolk?
No, South San Diego.
Okay.
And he said, the Shore Patrol's been here twice looking for you, and they're really digging. I said, well, I didn't do nothing. And they said, well, you better call him. So I called him. And they said, to get here as fast as possible. You're to go to the USS Oklahoma City. That's a cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a notch smaller than a battleship.
Right.
I'm not stationed on that ship. I can't remember where I was stationed at. But anyway, they want you now. So I changed and went, and when they hit the quarterdeck, are you Milford? Yeah. Oh, we went up 3 levels and went into crypto, and there was 2 young officers in there. They got khakis on, Their shirts are open, no tie. The shirts are all wet with sweat.
They've been working hard.
There is an ultimate high top secret message. It copies crypto and cosmic. They can't get into it. It's been double encrypted.
Okay.
And it's ultra. Get it to the admiral. He's wanting. Like I said, they was looking for hours.
Goodness.
Anyway.
So you got in, you started working on this
I got
message.
What are you guys doing? A few words you don't want to hear, but okay, I said, let me have it. I probably had 20 to 30 minutes, and I was done. And an enlisted man cannot handle top secret clearance. All how you can go is top is a secret. When they give me my my clearance, I don't know who did it, but they notched me up to top secret. That's why they grabbed me. I'm probably one of very, very few enlisted people with top secret.
And
I didn't read that message either.
how do you decrypt it without reading it?
Oh, I don't. I read it, but I forget it. It's just automatic.
And so you got it to the admiral. This was
Had I went to a hospital for any reason, they would have been people with me during the operation, so that I don't start mumbling something that's not supposed to be heard.
Oh, wow. I never knew they went to that length,
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about Well, let me ask you this: where were you? What were you doing when you got the news that President Kennedy had been shot?
I was on board the USS Colonial, and I was up in radio, and I'm a senior man in radio, and here comes a message, and so I grabbed the 7MC. It's a microphone that's connected to 7 places, and I knew the captain was on the bridge, and so I punched it and said, "Captain, the president's been shot and killed." He came back and he said, "Milford, quit kidding around."
So this, when you said that, it went to 7 different places
No,
on the ship at once.
Just one.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, he said, "Milford, quit kidding around." So I tore it off the machine and ran up there. "Captain, I'll be darned." I said, "You gonna lower the flag?" "Oh, do I have to do that too?" They asked some dumb questions when, well, they got a lot on their mind, but.
What was the feeling on board the ship?
Not too much difference. We was, yeah. They immediately went to war status.
Well, one thing I was wondering about is if the alert level increased after that, or
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Tell me about Christmas traditions. Did your family have any things you enjoyed doing every Christmas together?
Just when the boys was there and they're anxious to tear open their packages. I wasn't always there on Christmas.
I understand. Now, how long were you in the military?
20 years.
20 years before you ever started in the Postal Service.
Right.
Okay. Any special awards or achievements, maybe through the military or through the post office?
Gee whiz. I can't think. My personal highlight was breaking that message from them officers.
Did you get any sort of commendation for
No.
that?
No.
No.
They didn't want that to go around. They didn't want that broadcast around anyway. So.
I got you. Have you ever traveled? Well, obviously, you've traveled outside of the United States with the Navy. What are some of the places you visited?
Wow. Well, I started off by going to. I'm dumb. Oh. Anyway, over.
Were you mostly in the Pacific?
Yeah, but I started at my first one was over in Europe. The second place we left Europe, we went to Casablanca, Africa. That was interesting.
I bet.
And then from Casablanca, we went to Cuba. I didn't get to see him, but that was Bajista was still in charge there. Then I went to the submarine school and went to San Diego. When you graduate submarine school, they give you where you want to go. You can go anywhere you want. San Diego. Let's see, geez, Hong Kong, all of them. Philippines.
Guam.
Yeah, Guam. We stopped there one time. The engineers had to have some more oil. I don't know. You carry 120,000 gallons of fuel, and you got don't have enough oil. But anyway, yeah, pull into Guam. Your oil will be sitting on the pier, and I don't know how many. I don't know how many we had, but it was all in 8-quart cans.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, we had quart cans from one end of that boat to the other.
And there's no telling how many quarts you'd have to put in at one time, huh? Oh goodness. All right, let me ask you this: Did you mentioned football? Did you play any other organized sports growing up?
No, I tried basketball, but I double dribbled and held in steps, and I couldn't play basketball.
I gotcha. All right, so are you for Florida or Florida State or some other school?
Mostly, I like to cheer for the team that's winning.
So you get on the bandwagon, I see. Favorite foods? What do you enjoy eating?
Oh, chicken fried steak, German chocolate cake.
Wow, that sounds good.
I was good at it.
That was what were some of her specialties?
Uh-huh. She made Randy a German chocolate cake one time for his birthday. And she picked it up off the counter and turned around and dropped it.
Oh, no. So did the dog get to enjoy?
No, we don't have no dogs.
Didn't have any pets. Now, tell everybody about Lila and about the Daytona 500 in 2018 and this long process and really this nightmare you've been going through for the last few years.
Well, as you have said, we went to the 500 race over in Daytona Beach. And Lila was jumping up and down and hollering just like everybody else. And the guy that she was cheering for took second place. And they ended the race at the far side of the track. That's just where the mileage ran out. And so then everybody starts to leave. And we're up on about the third tier. And so we work our way out and take steps and go down. Got down to the next level, and there's a what do I want to say? Programs and T-shirts and stuff like that for sale. Oh, she had to go live, so we went over there and she picked out a T-shirt and got a program wrist. And we come back, and then we took the elevator and went down to the first level, and we walked from the first level out to the pod. There was like 200,000 people going home.
Right. It doesn't happen quickly.
We got about 150 feet from the elevator, and Randy's on one arm and I'm on the left. And all of a sudden, she just collapsed. No warning, just bang, she's down. And
did she fall, or were you able to catch her?
Well, we kind of caught her, but yeah, because she just kind of
sort of slumped down.
And the people around us was everybody's giving instructions. And one girl turned up. I had Lila right over here, and then I felt the girl, and there's a girl here on my knee, and she said, "I'm a nurse," and she hollered for somebody to call an ambulance. We got an ambulance, and it was fabulous. I tell you, I've never seen anything like it. From that point on, the police had control. They must have had 8 officers on every intersection. And of course, we're running a siren. And when they hear the siren, they shut down all 4 ways to get to that intersection. We went through there at high speed. All those hundreds of thousands of cars.
Wow.
And there's a path right down the middle.
Where did they take her? Halifax?
Halifax.
Yeah.
Well, I was amazed, just the parting of the waves.
When did you find out this was a stroke?
We'd done an emergency. They had taken Lila and went around the corner, and a doctor come up to me and he says, "Okay, what medicines is she on?" And I said, "Well," he says, "Does she take any blood thinners?" I said,
Coumadin?
Huh?
Coumadin?
"No, yeah." Anyway, that's a blood thinner, one of the top ones. And he said, "Oh, that's it. I can't touch her." He said, if I opened her up, I'd never get it stopped.
Mm.
We'll have to wait." So we waited 48 hours before he went to operate. And all that 48 hours, instead of just a few minutes, blood working on the brain, we had 48 hours of blood working on the brain.
Goodness, yeah.
I should have told him, let's roll the dice, do it. I'm just sick that she's been on her back or in a wheelchair since then. Most of the time sitting in her room all by herself, nobody talking to her, nobody holding her hand, nobody doing anything.
All right, so the 91st Psalm, I just wanted to look at it real quick, said, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a buckler. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrows that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday." And it goes on, but that's a beautiful passage.
Those 3 battalions, American battalions, were fighting the Germans. And one of the generals, I don't know which one it was, give every man in his battalion a copy of that 91st Psalm.
Okay.
They went into a firestorm of people getting shot and killed, and that's what they do in the Army. When it was all over and done with, he didn't have a single casualty. And the other 2 battalions took heavy losses.
Mm.
And I told this to Dan. Dan knew about it. And he looked it up on his computer, but we couldn't figure out the name, general's name. But anyway, it's a true story.
And that's an amazing chapter in Psalm. Well, David, thanks for letting me interview you today.
I'm sorry I cried on you, but...
Well, that happens when we have memories that we think about, good or bad, and sometimes they're tears of joy, sometimes they're tears of sadness. We're going to be praying for you with Miss Lila, and I know some of how difficult that must be for you and for Randy and the rest of the family. But just know that we love you, we love her, and we just lift y'all to the Lord and pray that through all of this, that I'm praying that you have those moments where she has that recognition, or that you can share just a moment together in the midst of all the glassy stairs and the confusion or the quietness.
Well, yesterday David, come get me out of here.
uh,
But then there's been times too, not recently. One of the CNAs would come around and she'd point to me and say, "Who's that?"
yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
hard. That's hard.
But no, there's no writing on the wall. You don't know. I don't know, but sometimes I got bad feelings that I hate it that she's in there. She's like a prisoner in jail,
Yeah.
and I just hate it. There's nothing I can do. She wants me to come get her, but Friday we're going to be with her from 12 to 1,
Good.
and we get to physically touch her.
Oh, okay. Is that something new?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I've done it twice now, and nobody died over it. So,
Well, let me pray for you right now, okay?
thank you.
Father, I want to thank you for David. Thank you for Randy. Lord, thank you for just the testimony of his life, of how you have watched over them, protected them in many ways, and now dealing with just the difficulty and the tragedy of this stroke with Miss Lila. Lord, we pray that you would allow them to experience some times of recognition and shared connection over these coming weeks and months and hopefully years. Lord, I pray that you would just give him the grace and the strength to go through all of this. I know it's difficult being separated from her. Thank you that he's able to get in and to physically be able to touch her and be with her. And so I pray that would just be a precious and a sweet time for he and Randy and the rest of the family. I pray for this one coming down to visit in April, and pray for travel safety as well. Thank you for all that they mean, the Milford family, to our church family, and I just ask that you would grant their requests. In Jesus' name, amen.